Hello. In this episode, we talk about bad fettuccine, corporations, and how they are both controlling our bodies. Remember, you can contribute to our podcast by sharing a topic or suggestion that has you tilted, not stirred. Enjoy.
Hello, my name is Edwin,
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Frantic.
and together we are Tilted Not Stirred. So what have you guys in the red today? What have you guys been up to?
Just relaxing, and apart from school, I finished watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was cool. It's a good ending. Don't want to give too much away, so I'll just leave it at that.
Are those Marvel movies again?
You know it.
God damn it. For me, I'm feeling weird, man. I'm feeling weird because my brother cooked a fettuccine alfredo, and he doesn't cook, and I trusted him. Little did I know that over half of the ingredients were all expired.
Oof.
And I'm like, dude, why do you do this? Why do you try to cook something that you have no ingredients for? And so I'm feeling weird. I'm trying not to think about it. Like everything's perfectly normal, but
Hey man, you got the wobblies going on in your stomach.
the bubblies,
You know?
yeah, I'm trying not to think about it.
Get that
Oh,
Pepto
man.
on standby.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun night. You should definitely get some Pepto Bismol or something. You know,
Pepto,
Oh, hell.
man, I don't drink any of that stuff. I just drink water.
I'll help the corporations. You know, Pepto.
What about you, Edwin?
Well, I have been. I don't know. I'm trying to find structure into my day. Just recently, I've decided to look for another job, and it's fun employment right now, and it's not fun. It's not that fun. I mean, it's not as fun as I thought it would be. I just spent probably half a week over visiting my girlfriend. It was really nice, and now I'm back, and I don't know what to do. Tomorrow I have a job interview. On Friday. Well, in 2 days.
Couple of days. Yeah.
I have a job interview to be Leslie Nope out there, bro. I'm excited.
Leslie, nope.
Parks and Rec
You're
Department.
working in the government or what?
Yeah, the California Parks and Recreation. Hopefully it pops off.
Very cool. Very
But
cool.
aside from getting to do my research, my due diligence, to nail this interview, I've been playing FIFA and watching a lot of Champions League. Yesterday the Chelsea game happened, and we went ahead. First we scored first. It was against Real Madrid. And playing against Real Madrid is always a scary proposition, especially if it's the Champions League. And, Chelsea scored first early on, and it was a scary moment to hold on from then on. And we didn't manage it. It was a 1-1 draw. And then today I watched Man City versus PSG. And that ended up in a draw as well.
I recently saw that there was protests in Real Madrid because of all this Super League business.
There has been large amount of protests everywhere, but the people who still haven't pulled out are Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Oh, so
That's the reason why they have the protests, but they haven't pulled out. They haven't given up the dream because they're counting on that money.
for sure.
Hell yeah. Real Madrid versus LA Galaxy. Let's run it.
Yeah, I don't think they're eligible. LA Galaxy are eligible
LA
to
Galaxy
the
to the Super League? What?
You heard it here first, guys.
Breaking news.
Yeah, Super League. Everybody's in, man. Invite Toluca from Mexico.
Oh, I'm a fan of Querétaro just because I like the name.
Querétaro. That's an actual.
You're proud of yourself for being able to pronounce that properly.
It's a funny
I mean,
name.
there's that Parangaricutirimicoro. There's that place in Mexico as well. That's a wild one.
That was a flex. and a half.
Yeah, what was that?
I'm not even gonna try.
Nope.
Try it. Let's all try it
No.
right now. Parangari kutiri mi kwaro.
No,
No?
no.
No.
And then there's the volcano, the Popocatépetl. That one's wild. But
Hey, the native
Mexico.
languages in Mexico, and then like what is known today as Latin America.
well, I mean,
Those are some weird languages.
those are Aztec names through and through. You know, like
Mhm.
it ends in TL. You know, Huitzilopochtli, which is the god of war. You know, you got Quetzalcoatl.
Oh, I did
They're
not
all-
know you were reversed in Aztec culture.
I've actually, yeah, that was I really love Aztec culture, and it was one of those things that I studied a lot growing up. So, you know, and like I don't know, like tongue twisting, like those names are pretty tongue twister now, but you know, you got names that are deviated from it. You know, Xochitl, you got your, I can't think of another one. Feels good. All right, that's where we end that one at.
That's a good name. That's it. That's all we need.
That's a good name. I like that. Xochitl's out there.
Yes, sir.
Shout out. But yeah, what do you want to get into today?
Dude, something that has been really bugging me. And this is coming from someone who loves America. I know we got our problems, but I'm patriotic. I have brothers in the military and all that jive. And one of the ideas that kind of has been breaking down in my mind has been capitalism and how I've been an ardent defender of it. And I was talking to another buddy of mine about this topic, and he said, "Dude, this isn't even a capitalist society anymore. This is corporatism." And I had to look this up, and yeah, we are in fact in a corporate society where basically corporations are controlling the means and the ends, and it's scary. It's really scary. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts, your personal thoughts on corporations, but I always thought that, oh, well, corporations are in a way good because they're out here giving us the cheapest products possible and quote unquote bettering our quality of life. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that our very democracy is kind of crumbling, not only from the political side, but also economics. It's a tough world right now, and that's kind of what's been eating at me.
Well, the biggest issue I see with corporations is that they always try to appease the shareholders, where they maximize profits because that's what the shareholders do. They don't care about the consumer; they care about meeting the demands of the shareholders. So it's just a cycle of, hey, we can do this, but it cuts into our profits, and the shareholders go, well, you can't do that because it cuts into our profits too. And it's like, okay, well, run it.
It's one of those
Let's
things
do
where
the opposite.
like, oh, our customers would really love if we would do this or make actual quality products. But then, like you mentioned, the shareholders, it eats into their bottom line.
Right.
And it's
Well, innovation takes a back seat when it comes to, when there's shareholders that control your every move as a corporation, you then are afraid to take risks. And that's one of those things that, I mean, if we want to bring it way into something that, like I told you, I feel very comfortable talking about the gaming sphere. Right now, a lot of developers, they're just pumping out remakes. They're pumping out games that did well in the past, and now they're going to do well right now. And innovation in every sense of the way, like new mechanics, new story arcs, new anything, new characters, that all takes a back seat. And because they know that all the recycled stuff is going to work out, and it goes on beyond gaming. It goes on in so many different parts of media where everything is going to do well if it was received well before. And one of those things that we're happy getting our nostalgia fix, you know, shout out to the last episode, but at the same time, you know, you're not seeing the evolution of what could be. And
true. I think a lot of that has to do with the product life cycle. Like, they come out with the game, it takes many years to make, and like, you know, everything from taking the concept to market. But then when you see games that are coming out, the biggest example would be EA games with all the like FIFA 20, 21, 22. It's like they come out every year. Like, they don't have enough time to innovate. And it's just what rakes in the most dough at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's the sad reality of everything, of life, you know. As you know, I'm not pro corporation. I've never been. I've said it multiple times on this podcast and in real life that I don't eat at chain restaurants for that specific reason. For that same reason where you have to support, you know, local businesses in the sense that those people actually depend on you. And if you, as a person, stop eating at, you know, Carl's Jr. or something, that's going to continue on. That's going to keep going. But if there's a business that you really like that is local to you, shout it out, you know, let people know about it, because that's the way it's going to continue existing. And, you know, it's unfortunate how all these corporations can give you your meal. If you're talking about a restaurant, they can give you your meal for $4, you know, not take a hard loss because you're there and you're, you know, consuming their food. But, you know, it's sad when you see a local business, and they're charging you what, $8 or something for a meal, and people complain about it. They don't really understand that they can't afford to make things cheaper or stuff like that.
A lot of the times the ingredients are better too. Yeah. So it is a higher cost, but I do feel that your money spent in your local business in a way stays in your community. Whereas if you pump your money into a corporation, it's going over to their headquarters and, you know, somewhere else.
I worked for Nordstrom. That was my previous employer, and just watching the way they maneuvered, it was just about meeting bottom lines, you know, and meeting quotas, and it was never about the people. You know, there was incentives for you to produce, but when you needed a day off, they made it nearly impossible for you to take either they made it impossible in my time being there, for you taking a personal day off, a sick day. You had to use PTO hours, which were, you know, that became the sole purpose by which you took whatever time you needed off. And if you didn't, you know, you were in trouble. There were repercussions to that. And it became very apparent with the whole pandemic. Puts everything into perspective, you know, where everyone is deemed an essential worker, even for things that are non-essential, which is absolutely baffling, you know. So corporations there got their way and put people in harm's way, you know, and it was like, you work for our cause, and that's it. You're gonna be essential, but
yeah, they don't want to get put out of business by other companies, or just going bankrupt, because I mean the pandemic did last a lot longer than expected, and the shutdowns and things. So I understand why, as a company owner, you would want your company to open back up. But since we're on the topic and theme of corporations, I feel that they're not really here for the people. I worked at a ton of different jobs and warehouses as well, and I mean all the advertising you see, all the public perception that they curate online, and you don't get to see everything that's going on behind the scenes.
All the lobbying for unions, especially for
The
Amazon.
interest groups. Yeah.
You know, you see all these commercials like, no, we don't need a union. We're happy here in Amazon. Amazon gives us everything we ever need, you know, and it was pretty insane just to watch that kind of stuff happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not gonna be pointing fingers or nothing. Like, I don't know all the dirt on, like, you know, the Fortune 500 companies, but I mean, the most corrupt and manipulative corporations tend to be the ones that are, you know, making the most money. So I don't know. I mean, Amazon, I feel, is a bit of an exception to that, simply because they really were able to provide a service that nobody else thought was possible, which was delivery in 2 days. So everything they do, yes, there's like some dirty stuff, sure.
Shout out to the homie David, who just texted me during this episode, and he said, Edwin, Starbucks is the only place that gives you a decent sized cup when you ask for water. None of that 6-ounce shit. You get a full 20 ounces. 30 ounces if you're cute.
Oh,
that was a throwback to last episode.
Get caught out.
Fuck Starbucks anyways.
But yeah, like, I understand when a company has a truly innovative idea, or they're able to execute something that nobody else was able to. But when the company is not innovative and it's more of a market manipulation, where they're putting out their competitors they're putting them out of business, and they're just so big that they're able to basically swallow everyone else.
See, right now, I support a lot of indie games, right? But indie games are the ones pushing the gaming world forward. They'll come up with a mechanic never done before, right? This indie game then succeeds, and then the AAA companies follow, and there's so many knockoffs of this mechanic, because this indie company took a mechanic and something that they believed in, that's going to be the next push for a game, and then you see all these AAA companies come in here and do the same thing and say, hey, we're doing it better. You know,
like, hey, we came up with this.
No, we allocated more resources to this.
Oh.
You know, buy our game. This is a much better looking game. This is
more refined graphically.
More refined. Yeah, this is a better version of that. When in reality, that indie company paved the way forward, so that other companies can say, "Oh, okay, it's cool to take a risk on this because we're not going to lose money," or "This is the end thing," which is. It's kind of scary. And then those people that don't take risks and stuff, they're you know, piloting this massive organization, this massive business. They're the ones that get to dictate laws on top of that, which is kind of wild to me, you know? There's laws that come into place to further service their needs in America, which is kind of crazy. And when something is challenging the pro quo, when it's challenging what is already established, then that's just like, that's when we get to lobbying and gerrymandering and, you know, all those
corporate bailouts,
all that good stuff, and
tax codes. We love it.
Yeah, it's kind of a big topic, since you can get into a lot of it. I mean, just last week we were talking about our favorite foods, and we ran into this issue where we're like, oh wait, I love salmon, you know, and that's an entire industry, that's an entire corporation, you know. Tyson with their chicken, you know, it's insane. It doesn't
It is the biggest of rabbit holes for sure.
Yeah, if you wanna get into it like that, it's gonna take a massive amount of research, and even then, what do you focus on? You know, because you could be the most ardent believer of, indie shops and all this stuff, indies or mom and pops, all these things, but you still have a phone right now, and the phone is made by somebody. Who's that phone made by? You got.
Rather not think about it.
It's like you can go into real hard, like a social topic that you're really, really passionate about. But in the end of the day, there's some corporation you're giving your money to. The whole. Go ahead.
You're mentioning about the laws. I think Jeff was telling us about, what was that? The DoorDash thing you were telling us about?
Yeah, so it was during the last election. There's a proposition that was put place. I forgot the exact name of it, but it was basically about whether or not the drivers for these companies would be considered independent contractors or employees. So,
yes.
Cut to several commercials saying, "Hey, I am an employee for these delivery companies. I do not want to be an employee. I want to remain an independent contractor because I get to do this on my own time." Yada yada yada. At the end of the commercial, by law, you're supposed to say who sponsored the commercial, and of course, right at the bottom it says sponsored by DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, of course, all the corporations that are opposing the bill, because if they have to make them full-time employees, then that comes with benefits, insurance, a bunch of other stuff. So to save their bottom line, hey, they're independent contractors. You guys aren't employees.
Were we supposed to vote yes or no on that then?
It was no.
No was a good thing, or was yes the good thing?
Yes would be classifying them as independent contractors, I believe. Which was the bad one.
Which is bad.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because then they wouldn't have to have the responsibility of insurance and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. And like a normal salary.
Yikes! I don't remember what I voted for that. Was that a state, like a countrywide, or
no? It was a state proposition. But yeah, it passed by like a wide margin.
Yeah, and all these propositions are just the way they word them. They're like, if you didn't go brain dead by the halfway through the sentence, you just. There's so many things. The way they word them is just purposely tricky.
There was also one this was way longer. I think this was when we were still in, like, just out of high school, that election, where it was a proposition of whether or not the food here should be labeled as by whatever engineered. What is it called? Bioengineered, like, genetically modified. Yeah,
GMOs.
GMOs. Yeah. If it was genetically modified or not. And every day you'd see a commercial. Hey, if this passes, then farmers it's gonna affect their bottom line because now they gotta pay for all these printing of the labels, everything else. You gotta mark the packaging, of course, and it's like, oh, who's sponsoring these commercials? Oh, it's Monsanto, the biggest corporation that pumps out these GMOs. So of course that one did not pass. Our food is not labeled as GMO'd or not. And funny enough, the employees at Monsanto had a vote during this of whether or not they wanted GMOs in their cafeteria, and it was sounding no. So the employees at Monsanto voted against having genetically modified food in their cafeterias.
Well, shit. I mean, that's the big issue, right? And at least for like the consumer's perspective, is that the corporate interest in advertising obscures it all.
Yeah.
And you really, everything is contingent on the fact that the consumer is able to make an educated purchase, right? But the least educated you can make it, and the more habitual you can make it, is what makes it profitable.
Now let's talk about habits. You mentioned habits, right?
Yeah.
Netflix and chill. Tell me how great of a tagline that is for Netflix.
I mean, who created that? Whoever created Netflix and chill, the phrase should have some sort of stake in this company.
It might have been them, right? Like that's the thing that right. Like these things come like we ourselves as a population, as a community, also help these brands grow in the sense that we make their own advertisement. You know, that being said, first, I think the second podcast, I said Xbox Game Pass. You know that is.
Oh,
one
you were
of those,
shilling for Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, I
that's
remember
one
that.
of those things that they're a giant corporation. Microsoft is a giant corporation that has all the money in the world to do what they want, right? And here I was, I'm coming clean. I'm not coming out holier than thou, because it's one of those things that you got your Netflix and chills, you got your people who go to Target when they have nothing better to do, right? Oh, I have a 0 day today. I got nothing to do. I'm gonna go to Target and just check it out. Go spend a couple bucks. Oh, oopsie! I spent 100.
Go
Oopsie.
crazy.
Hey! I gotta stop you right there because all three of us used to do that. We were very prolific loiterers back in the day, and Target was one of our favorite destinations.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. These habits that we get as a community, and I know there's memes on it all over the place. Where you go to Target and oh wow, you spent so much money and you didn't mean to, but oopsie poopsie, that's cute. That's an adorable accident, and it's one of those things that everybody, relates to.
Yeah, big true. I mean, it's kind of not scary, but it does make you think, especially online. Who creates these memes? Like these viral things that make a company blow up. It makes you wonder if it's someone who works for that company, or if it's someone who's genuinely excited about a product. Who knows?
I mean, social media experts are a hireable position. You can get hired for a company to do their social media, and that's your job to come up with taglines. Wendy's is very good at their Twitter, where they just go and roast everyone. And that's their MO, Dude,
and social media is a corporation of corporations right there. Because all the other corporations have to bow down to the tech and to the social media and stuff, or else,
you get canceled.
You get canceled, or your things are just suddenly not appearing on search engines anymore. Weird.
Yeah, but it also gives like anybody a stance to say, oh, I got bad customer service today at McDonald's. Because I have a blue check mark, I'm gonna roast them today, and they better change or make good on what they did to me, or else they're gonna suffer. They're gonna suffer this public humiliation on Twitter, and it's just like all of this is very disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I would really wish to see things revert back, at least a little bit, because capitalism was always based on private ownership of property, but in corporatism, it's basically these private properties are now owned by entities that have no morals and no regard for anything but the economic growth of the company. So,
well, isn't capitalism also have in it the competition?
Yeah, and I do think that I think it is kind of a natural progression to go from capitalism to corporatism, but I don't have a solution or a way to make competition healthy, because there's always someone who's willing to do something grimier than you to get ahead,
or just buy out all the competition and not have to worry about it to begin with. Build yourself a nice monopoly.
Yeah, exactly, like Comcast has in the San Francisco area. in the Bay Area, it's just all Comcast. That's all you can get for their internet provider.
Or Spectrum in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Or DirecTV in some areas.
Yeah, it's actually... I don't know how the heck we got there, but we did.
Well, when you have the money to pay for these people to go up to Congress and tell them, hey, this is why you shouldn't let all these other companies in because we're doing everything right. And I am totally not being paid, but yes, I am being paid to talk to you about these things. And hey, your election is coming up. You could use a donation, bro. I got you.
I see you've been lacking a little bit. I can get some people to say some nice things about you. You know what I'm saying? I own a newspaper, just saying. You know?
Yeah, your pocket's feeling a little bit light.
It's tough, but hey, like, that's just kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Just wanted to air out a little bit of those frustrations. I'm sure we'll come back to this at some point. Maybe a little more specific. Maybe you want to trash a specific a specific entity. I don't know.
Give me some
I
time.
mean, yeah. I guess so. That brings us to the end of the episode. I mean, just remember to support your local businesses and
very important.
Yeah,
do it.
Yep, do it. So you can reach us at our website at tiltednotstirred.com, where you'll be able to find all our Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit links. And you can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and the YouTube.
Bye.
Peace.
Remember to join us and share your questions and voice your thoughts on what has you tilted, not stirred.